Hey, so don't worry if you're feeling a slight feeling of deja vu. You haven't seen this exact video before, but you have seen the last time the three of us were in this gym together, which was back in 2017, when Luke released How to Stop Overthinking. And basically that book's a little rubbish now, because now we have Supercharged, the modern day guide to creating outstanding levels of energy, motivation, self-control. Did I get that exactly right?
Got that right.
I did.
Yes.
I did. So what we're going to do today is we're going to discuss Luke's new book, same way we did last time, only 5 years later, with better equipment and less hair and more muscle mass between us all, I think, as well. Cool. So Luke, my first question is for you. What's the feedback been like so far for the book? What's the feedback? What's the general consensus of the book so far?
Cool. Yeah, it's been good. Very good, actually. It hasn't been a magnificent bestseller, as it's an independently self-published book. But there's been nothing but good reports so far from the ones we've sold. We're doing them direct now rather than going through a company. It is obviously available on Amazon as well. But it's changing a lot of lives, slowly but surely. But the audiobook's in the process, as we know. So that is will affect even more lives. So overall, massively positive.
Amazing. So in terms of the difference between writing this book, what was the sort of mindset going into this one? How did you differ in terms of your attitude towards going into this book versus the first one that you released?
So this one I began writing in COVID, really, during the lockdown, as a lot of people had creative bursts or they had projects and things that started.
Or they were lazy as fuck.
Well, that's true. It went one way or the other, really, didn't it? So the mindset going into it was very different, because back in 2016, when I wrote How to Stop Overthinking, it was my first book. It was the first sort of effort that I've had of writing something long-term, long script, if you will. And because I'm on a relentless pursuit of self-development, I'm a different person now to compare. Not only do I look different, I feel different, I act different. I just feel like an upgraded version in a lot of ways. So the mindset is different, because last time it was, I think I'd been in self-development about 4 years before I wrote this book. Now I've been in nearly a decade. So there's a lot more development, there's a lot more skill, there's a lot more tested wisdom, there's a lot more knowledge goes in, there's a lot more fuck-ups and things like that get expressed and explained. And there's a lot more strategy in it as well. Like, I've found a lot more over the past 5 years that works better than what I did in the first 3 years or 4 years of doing this development thing. So overall, the mindset was that I'm just more upgraded in most areas.
Yeah, well, what I really like what you said there was obviously the mistakes part of it. Like, a lot of books, you rarely read about the author's mistakes. You always read about their successes normally, or you see people post about the successes. What I liked about reading Supercharged was how in-depth you go into your own mistakes, how you openly talk about failed relationships, the job, being a plumber and stuff. I know we obviously covered that in the last video, but I really liked how you went into the mistakes of it. So is it hard for you to be vulnerable as an author? Do you find that difficult, or is it something that you've always kind of been able to just, get over and just say, look, this is me? Or is there a barrier up when it comes to releasing sort of that dark sort of side of yourself?
That's a good question. I think it's always hard at the start, I think, for everybody, until you start to do it. Because I've wrote about struggles for a long time now. Like, it's not new to me to write about struggles or fears or fuck-ups. But it was at the start, so that vulnerability, once expressed, is kind of like a little bit of a weight off your shoulders. It's good because at first you'll think, oh, what if I get judged? Which you probably will anyway. People are judging you all the time. But the fact is once you get over that fear, the aspect of feeling more, I guess you could say, relief, more self-control from just expressing yourself a bit more. So at first, it's always hard. You always have that resistance, that hesitance to, is this too much to share? But I was always told from my coaches and my mentors, if it's something that you feel is too much to share, it's probably what you need to share. If it kind of, I'm a bit hesitant about that, what if, that's probably a sign that you need to share it,
Yeah. All right, so I would love to know from you firsthand what you think, compared with your first book, is better about this new book.
Cool. Good question. All of it. All of it. Again, like, I'm 5 years improved. So there's a lot more strategy in this book. There's a lot more real talk I think, in this book. It's written better. There's more stories in this book, personal stories. I think the biggest thing is I've tried to simplify it as much as I can, rather than get too much in. Yes, it is 200 pages. It's kind of a length of an average book. But when you read what you need to do to feel better, to have a better life, to get fit, strong, healthy, mentally well, physically fit, it's so simple. I think that's what I broke it down into, keep being as simple, not easy, because there's a difference there. It's hard to get in shape physically and mentally, but it's really fucking simple. People overcomplicate this so much. Like they think that there's 10 or 15, 20 things they need to do every day for hours and hours, when actually you could sort your life out in less than 30 minutes a day if you are really productive with it. Like, you could really sort your life out in less than 30 minutes, and now a max tops a day, just by doing the right things that produce the most impact. But the issue is that a lot of people have this misconception that if they do something for themselves, it's selfish. You're a burden. You're selfish. You don't care about anyone else but yourself. And like, they have this restriction towards self-care and self-love. So a lot of people will put other people before going to the gym, for example, or other people before prepping a meal or eating healthy, or if they want to go on a diet and lose weight, they'll have one comment if somebody's saying, you don't need to do that, that's stupid, and they'll just curl it to a ball and think, I can't do that, I'll be judged, But it's really simple to change your life. So I think the biggest thing would be the simplicity of the strategy. Yep. There's a lot more to it as well, like there's 200 pages worth of stuff there. But again, it's 5 years later, and if you're not getting better, you're getting worse. Yep. I think this issue of plateauing is a bit of a myth. People like to think they're plateauing, and they say that because they don't like to admit they're getting worse. Yep. You're either getting better or you're getting worse. And thankfully, in the majority of stuff, I've been getting better, which is good.
So as you say, that 5 years of growth, so I'm just wondering, what would you say, a little bit more specifically, maybe personally or professionally, are some of the things that have grown and changed and matured since writing that first book and over the last 5 years?
Okay. A lot personally, a lot professionally. Professionally, I've started to realise, well, this is personally as well, to be fair, I think the biggest thing is the environment you're around, the people that you're hanging around. That's the biggest thing that I think has changed. I talk about that a lot in the book. Who you hang around is who you become. Yep. And you are highly influenced by the people that you hang around, whether that be parents, friends, co-workers, social circles. Yep. Like, especially true if you're trying to get rid of your drinking habits, you're hanging around with piss heads. If you're hanging around with 10 piss heads, you're probably going to become number 11. Yep. If you're trying to get a handle on your weight, yet you're hanging around with 8 fat people, you're probably going to be number 9. Yeah. Probably, yeah? If you're hanging around with people who snort coke, right, you're probably going to be tempted to do it. Yeah. Yeah. You're always influenced. Whereas if you're hanging around with people who go to the gym regularly and look after themselves, you're probably going to be tempted to do it. So that's the thing, is environment, I think, has changed the much. And not just the environment in terms of understanding that more, understanding the power and impact that has on who you hang around physically and mentally, but also professionally, how to create an environment like that, how to step up as a coach and motivate people and show people the standards that need to happen to make it a great environment, the little actions that we need to take to make it a good environment, etc. So I think one of the biggest things, mate, has been that reminder, and that what's the word I'm looking for? Just a reminder, the evident reminder that environment is key. And if you ever in the place where you're relying on willpower, environment trumps that. So no matter how much willpower you have, if you're in the wrong environment, you're going to be influenced, whether that's positively or negative. You can say, I'm not going to drink, I'm not going to drink, I'm not going to drink. Then just one. I'm not going to eat the biscuit. I'm not going to eat the biscuit. Mom, I can't have the biscuits. Just have one, son. I can't eat the biscuits. I'm on a diet, Mom. Mom, I can't eat the biscuits. No, just have one with your tea. Oh, look at that. It's a rich tea biscuit.
Parents are the worst for that.
It's a rich tea biscuit. Just one, man. Don't be so stupid. You're doing something. Oh, no, just one. Oh, my God. Full packet later. You're sitting in guilt and there's crumbs everywhere. But again, that's minor. But it's environment, isn't it? And if you're on a quest and a journey, you need to be around the right people.